Hey, welcome.
Hey, brother, how are you?
Fine, you?
All good. Let me turn my phone. I have my laptop here.
How is going everything in Colombia?
All good. Here at home. Lockdown.
Everybody locked down at your houses.
So, and you?
Yeah, actually I'm fine. If I get a chance to stay home, I'm staying home. But sometimes I'm going to Rosario for help.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, yeah.
And you guys selling all roasted coffee online?
Yeah. We sell it online. And
So all the shops close?
About roasted coffee. We have,
Okay.
Everybody, we have Daniel from Amativo, Colombia today. I visited
Hello, everybody.
him while I was traveling in Colombia. We have spent an amazing 2 days together. We visited one of the farms which they work with it. You remember Capilla del Rosario? And I had a chance to participate Master of Cafe Colombia thanks to Daniel. First of all, we can hear a story about Daniel and Amativo, and then I'll ask questions that I collected for him. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, brother. Thanks for having me here. Small story about Amativo. So first thing is, I was not related with coffee at all. I was a lawyer. I stumbled upon coffee accidentally. I didn't even like coffee. But I was not happy doing what I was doing. I think being a lawyer is a very negative profession. So with some friends, we decided to do something else. So we founded Amativo. Initially, we were trying to, one of the partners is Korean. I met him here in Colombia, we became friends. And he wanted to import agricultural products from Colombia in South Korea. So we started with that, and our main agricultural product in Colombia is coffee. So I had to go into coffee and start learning about coffee. And then I fall in love with coffee. I realized I didn't like coffee. This is kind of sad, but people here in Colombia don't drink the good coffee. The good coffee all gets exported. That is changing right now. So the coffee I was used to, or the coffee I tried here in Colombia, was terrible coffee. And then when I was in South Korea, like setting this company, because I will tell you more about this later, but when I was there learning about coffee and like getting customers and all this, I started to learn about coffee, and then I started to drink the Colombian coffee that gets exported. And then I was like, oh, this is good. This is not the coffee people drink in Colombia. So now I love coffee. So Amativo now is we trade green coffee. We have three main offices in Shanghai, in China.
Yeah, I know.
That's a little bit about us.
Yeah.
The other thing is that we started with the Asian market. Now, as you know, we're also selling coffee to different countries. So we started with South Korea, we started with China, and now we have sold coffee to Chile, we have sold coffee to United States, we have sold coffee to Spain, to Turkey. We sold coffee once to Iran, and the list keeps growing every year, which is good for us.
Definitely. Yeah, we bought 2 different coffees from you last year. We bought Colombia El Balcón and Colombia El Paraíso. These 2 different coffee, El Balcón and El Paraíso, is very fruity, especially El Paraíso, because it's anaerobic. and that coffee is really loved in Turkey, by the way. Also, El Balcon is really loved in Turkey. How important and what are the benefits of cooperatives or specialty coffee production in terms of ensuring the sustainability of coffee?
I will say that some cooperatives, the thing is that we have many cooperatives in Colombia. Some of them have understood that the market is changing and they are trying to produce specialty coffee alongside the farmers associated to the coops. But this is not, most coops don't think like this. Actually, when I buy specialty coffee, I buy mainly directly from the farmer and not through a coop. Because coops here in Colombia traditionally handle the wash regular coffee that we all know about.
Yeah, I saw that at the cafes, the Expo de Colombia. Most cooperatives are selling traditional.
You were there. Yeah, exactly. You were there, and so they're still very traditional. Some of them are changing. So when we decide to buy specialty coffee, we have to go to specific farms. We have to find special farmers who are trying to do more. And sometimes it's difficult. When we started like 5 years ago, it was pretty hard to find these kind of farmers. But right now there's a lot of knowledge. I think Colombian people learn fast. And now you have a lot of farmers doing specialty coffee who are doing a terrific job. And in terms of sustainability, I think it's very important because right now the coffee price, you know that our prices in Colombia are mainly set by the New York stock market price. So right now the coffee price is high, but this is not usual. Usually the coffee price is very, very, very low. So most farmers don't get enough money to cover the production cost. So if you have an industry where the producers produce but they don't cover the production cost with the money they receive, well, you cannot say that's a sustainable industry. So this is why specialty coffee is so important for our coffee industry here in Colombia.
Second question is, how coronavirus outbreak affect the Colombian export? This is a tough one.
So our biggest problem right now is, so you guys know we're in lockdown as well as you. We have the way we pick the coffee is manually. So we have pickers, people going through the coffee fields and picking the cherries manually. So when you're in lockdown, you cannot just move freely. So this is our main problem. Our main problem right now is how pickers are able to move. And the way they do it is they go from town to town, like following the development of the harvest. But now they cannot go from town to town. So we have a problem here. The government is trying to fix this, but it's been difficult. So what this has done is that, ironically, the coffee price right now is high, but there are no pickers to pick the coffee. So
because
it's
of
like, it's bad luck. It's just bad luck.
Official quarantine in Colombia or not?
We have quarantine? Yeah, we're in quarantine right now.
Or not?
Yeah, we're in quarantine right now, but the government is trying to allow the pickers to move freely in the coffee towns.
Because we don't have an official quarantine right now. All the workers every day going their works. but we have only official quarantine at the holidays, Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, just like that. Third question is, will you talk about the difficulties of coffee farming in Colombia generally? Not today.
Okay, generally. I think we could approach this question like from many angles. First one is geography. Our geography has, as you saw, it is very steep. Our mountains are really steep.
High altitude then.
Yeah, actually, I'm right here. I'm right here in my apartment, but I'm going to show you like a regular Colombian mountain. That's it. and I'm here in the middle of the city, and you find these huge mountains. So that's the first one. It's pretty hard to pick our coffee. As you know, in Brazil, much of the coffee is picked by machines.
And flat.
Yes, it's flat. We cannot do that here. We need people to pick the coffees. Sometimes I've seen people picking coffee in mountains so steep that they need to put a rope again around their hips and just like go down like they were going down from a helicopter, like picking coffee. So this is one of our main difficulties. Also, to get to the coffee towns, it's quite a trip. I think you lived it. They are far away, the roads are not good. So all these things make the production a little bit more expensive. And sometimes this is not good for compete in price against other coffee. What we were talking about, the coffee mostly, and especially for commercial coffee, the price is set by New York stock market. And most of the time that price in the stock market doesn't cover the production cost. So basically most farmers and the farmers who produce just commercial coffee, most of them, they just produce to survive. They don't get rich by producing and selling coffee. They just produce to survive. So I will say these are our two main problems in our coffee production.
Also, I don't remember who telling me this, but I think you or another guy from another company, I don't remember, but he said we have situation about the young generation for farming.
Oh yeah, yes,
they
yes.
don't want to farm anymore, and they moved to city centrals. They didn't stay at the villages or in their farms. Also,
yeah. So yeah, what you're talking about is very true. So since the farmers don't receive enough money, so the young generations, when they look at the coffee industry, they look at their grandparents, they look at their fathers, at their parents, and they see that they've been poor all their lives. So they think like, why am I going to do coffee if my grandparent was poor, if my father is poor? So they just prefer to come to the cities and find a regular job. They don't get paid well here as well, but they think it's better to come to the city and find a way of living here. So that's a problem, because what's going on is that the countryside is getting old. The people who are working in the countryside are getting old. So this is not sustainable for our coffee industry, obviously, because at some point someone needs to work in the fields to produce coffee. But what I've been seeing lately, so I was telling you that I've seen a change with the specialty coffee movement, because as I said, they were coming to the cities. They were trying to find something different to produce coffee. But then a couple of years ago, well, not a couple, maybe 7 years ago, the whole specialty coffee movement started to work here. So we had institutions, like public institutions, that teach coffee for free. So they teach barista skills, they teach copying.
Or some courses about this.
Yeah, some courses. They teach some courses, copying, barista, roasting, and this is free. Mm-hmm. So what happened was that the people, this institution is called SENA. It's a government institution, mm-hmm. and they started to teach coffee, but they teach a lot of stuff. So the people, the young people who were going to this school to learn about, I don't know, different things. And what happened was that most of those young people, they were coffee farmers' sons, they were coffee farmers' daughters. And then when they learn about roasting, about copying, about barismo, they were like, oh, I didn't know you could do all this stuff with coffee. Because for them, coffee was not cool. Yeah. I mean, for me, coffee is the coolest thing, and for you, coffee is the coolest thing. You go to a coffee shop, and you saw all the machinery, the espresso machines, the grinders, the music. Like it's cool. It's very cool. But they didn't know it was like that, because what they have seen is just how hard producing coffee is, and their parents busting their asses producing coffee and not getting enough money. So for them, that was coffee. But so then they start looking at this, and then they said like, oh, so I could be a barista and use my father's coffee, or why don't I start roasting the coffee from my farm, from my family farm, and I just sell coffee. So what happened with this, what has happened with all these young people is they have seen specialty coffee as the thing that have made them fell in love with coffee again. You know what I mean? It's like for them, coffee was like, oh, I don't want to be related with coffee. And then when they learn about barismo, roasting, yeah, they say like, oh, so important for us here in Colombia.
Also, I met with Jose with you.
Oh yeah.
Capilla de Rosario. He learned at the Desalladores Cafe about roasting and barista stuff.
Yeah.
It's an example said about you.
Yeah, that's an example, because when Jose took over his farm, the farm was abandoned, almost abandoned. And it was almost abandoned because their parents didn't see an opportunity in coffee. For them, coffee was not a good business. So the farm was almost abandoned. But then Jose, he started to learn about specialty coffee, about processing, about barismo, about roasting. And he's very curious, so he saw an opportunity there. And now you went to his farm. His farm is beautiful. Definitely. He's receiving tourists every day. He's doing different kinds of coffee, different processing. He's doing honeys, naturals. He's doing anaerobics, carbonic macerations. He's doing a lot of stuff. He's even, when you go to his farm, he's the one doing the brewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He brewed for us. I remember that. And
yeah, so that's very special. And if it wasn't for specialty coffee, he probably will be doing something different, something else. But since he met like the whole specialty coffee movement, he was like, oh, this is so cool. and he has taken advantage of that because he has the farm, and he has learned a lot from Nikolai, from desarrolladores. So that's one of the examples of how specialty coffee changes the mentality of young people and here in Colombia.
We know that you also trade experimental processed coffees like anaerobics. How was the progress of experimental process in Colombia, and what is Amativo's perspective on experimental processed coffees?
So these experimental coffees, it's actually not very common here. Actually, when I started in coffee 5 years ago, all you can find was wash, obviously, but few naturals, few honeys, and that was it. But the last year, like from 5 years ago to nowadays, there are some farmers doing crazy stuff. As I said, it has moved really fast, and now you can see, like, every year I see a different process that is new, and I'm like, I didn't know you could do this with coffee. So there are some specific farms here in Colombia that are trying to do different things. They're actually using processes well known in the wine industry or in the beer industry, and they're using that to produce coffee. So it's not very common, but it's been very impressive what people have done in just a couple of years. And our take on this is, for me, is very, when we started, it was kind of frustrating because everything tasted like Colombia. So we set a cupping table and people were like, yeah, this is good coffee, but it all tastes like Colombian coffee. But now with all the experimental processes, when I set up a table and people start cupping, they don't believe all that coffee is from Colombia.
Colombian, yeah.
They're like, yeah, you saw it in Master of Cafe.
Consumers think about the Colombian coffees tastes like nuts, peanuts, or chocolate flavors, or honey flavors, like sweet flavors. They think Colombian coffees has not special exotic. Not lots of choices about the Colombian coffees, but when we get buy two different coffees from you, Turkish consumers has very surprised about it because it's very sweet and fruity and exotic taste. Yeah.
So for me that makes me very proud, because in World of Coffee last year in Berlin, I set a cupping table at the expo, and people were copying our coffees, they were trying our coffees, and they were like, oh, where are these coffees from? And I was like, all Colombia. And they couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe that all those coffees were Colombians, because some tasted like Ethiopian coffees, others tasted like Costa Rican coffees, others tasted like Colombian coffees, traditional, but it was so diverse that for us that is good, because we need to change the mentality of the consumer that Colombian coffee is just chocolate and nuts. We need to show people that Colombian coffee is way more exotic, or it can be way more exotic than people think. So for us, having experimental coffees in our portfolio is very important, because even if you're just looking for a regular Colombian coffee, when you come to one of our tables and you cup an experimental coffee, you're immediately like, wow, okay. So if this coffee is good, I'm pretty sure the regular normal Colombian coffee is gonna be good.
Yeah, also I lived an experience from at your lab. When I taste the etkiledi, it makes cold prolonged process. It's very exotic. There's like pineapples, mango, like very exotic, and it's very complex. When I brought this coffee with me into Turkey, when I tasted my friends in that coffee, they shocked because they think it's Panama or Kenya or Ethiopia or something like that, but it's Colombian coffee. So the next question, how do you decide to buy a coffee and trade it? What are the most important parameters to invest on a green coffee? Do you buy green coffee from the same farms every season, or do you change it seasonally?
Okay, so the first thing, the first parameter we think when we're buying coffee is not all coffee has to be spectacular. You can have normal coffee and you can have spectacular coffee. But one of the most important things is that the price matches coffee expensive. If his coffee is regular quality, well, I won't be able to sell that coffee. So even in specialty coffee, the price needs to match the quality, right? And also this is important because we know we are competing with different origins. We know that roasters in other countries, they have a wide selection of coffees to choose. They have Ethiopia, they have Central America, they have Brazil, they have Colombia. So for us, it's very important that whatever coffee we decide to buy is because the quality that we cup, it matches the price, right? So this is the most important thing, because even for you, you might like one coffee and you say, hey Daniel, this coffee is great, but then I tell you, oh, that coffee is $100 pound, you won't buy it. Changing coffee, the best thing you have ever tried, probably you're not going to buy $100 pound coffee. So this is the most important thing for us. And then there are some other things like how serious the farmer is, because we see coffee growers as businessmen as well, or this is the way we want to see them. So how serious the farmer is, and also we analyze how the farmer treats the coffee pickers, if the farmer pays well to the coffee pickers, if he's trying to conserve the trees he has in his field, how sustainable he's trying to be. So we analyze all this stuff to decide if we're working with a coffee farmer or not. And when we buy coffee, we tend to buy coffee from the same farms. This is very important because the coffee farmers invest money and time trying to improve the quality of their coffee, trying to do different processes, trying to do experimental lots. So if I buy them one time, but then I don't buy from them again, so they might lose. They might not be able to sell their coffee to somebody else because there are not many companies like ours in Colombia. So they might lose money, or they will say like, oh, it's not worth it to produce specialty coffee. So we try to build partnerships and always buy coffee from the same farms, work closely with them. If they have a problem, if there is a problem with a lot, we try to help them. So we don't tell them like, oh, so sorry, we're not buying. No, we try to help them. And when we have problem with their coffee, for example, if you buy a coffee from us and you have a problem with one of our coffees, then I will tell this to the farmer, and the farmer will try to give me more coffee to compensate you. It's like, this is why I'm saying it is a partnership, because if there's something wrong on his side, I'll try to help him, and if there is something wrong on my side, he will try to help me. So in specialty coffee, this is very important. In specialty coffee, you cannot just buy coffee from different farms.
Another question is on trading and marketing aspects. Is there a trend on certain countries that buy coffee from you? E.g., Turkey specifically buy naturals, or Greece buy any process, etc.
Yeah, I think this was true a couple of years ago. They like really fruity flavors, so they really like natural coffees. In Turkey, I found out that also very fruity, sweet coffee was the favorite. In the US at the beginning, they wanted like very chocolate, nuts, traditional flavors. But nowadays, I've seen how everything is changing. So in Asia, now I cannot say now in Asia that they want a specific flavor. They want everything. I've seen it in the States as well. At the beginning, all they wanted was washed coffee, regular chocolate, nuts, and now they're buying naturals and they're buying other stuff. So yes, I think that it's at the beginning is like that, and then just the consumer just wants to try it all and different flavors. This is my opinion, though. There are still some preferences. Yes, in China they still prefer the fruity coffee. Maybe in Turkey you guys still prefer the fruity sweet coffee, but it tends to not change, but it tends to at the end. Specialty coffee is good, washed, natural, honey, so fruity, floral, sweet. So at the end, all markets just end up buying very different profiles.
Okay, I'll pass the new question. As a Turkish coffee consumer, I rarely see specialty cacao. Do you see a reason for this lack of specialty cacao availability on worldwide markets? Also, you sell specialty cacao beans?
Yeah. It's a small market right now. I will say that the main reason, or the main reasons why you don't see so much specialty cacao is because first it's expensive. It's expensive. Second, people don't have enough knowledge to do a specialty cacao. I don't know if you've seen the process, but to produce chocolate, like from bean to bar, it's really complicated. You need a person specialized in doing the tempering. You need some equipment that is really expensive. So I will say that the main problem is the price. Specialty cacao is way more expensive than regular cacao. Second, you need to have the knowledge and the machines to produce chocolate with this cacao. And third, especially European brands. So when you produce a specialty chocolate bar, and you compare that with the commercial brands, the specialty one is so expensive. So expensive that few people are willing to buy it. And even so, I think that this is common with coffee. At the beginning, what I've seen is that people don't like the chocolate from the made with specialty cacao beans, because it tends to be a little bit more, obviously depends on the concentration of sugar and cacao, but it tends to be a little bit more bitter, less sweet, chocolate in the market is really, really sweet, and people are used to that. So when they try this,
sugary syrup latte.
Yeah, exactly like that. So when people try specialty cacao, they're like, okay, this is bitter, this is more expensive. I personally love cacao and chocolate made with specialty cacao beans, because it's like coffee. The flavor you get it from the cacao beans. If you get fruity flavors, if you get a lot of sweetness, it's the cacao bean, not sugar, not other added ingredients. Yes, it's just the fermentation. So I love it, but I think it's growing just little by little. It's same with coffee. I think that at the beginning with specialty coffee, people were not so sure if they liked it. For example, in Turkey, you guys drink coffee from 100. It's very bitter. So maybe when you give the people specialty coffee, it's so different to what they're used to that they might not like it. So it's a process. It's slow. Same with cacao. With cacao, I think it's a process. It's slow, but we will get there. We will get there.
Also, we have watcher who it's called Podisi Çikolata, who well-known chocolate brand in Turkey. They are watching it. We roasted their cacao beans. They make bean to bar chocolate, artisan chocolate. It's very complex and nice.
You have there is a friend that produces. Oh, nice! So nice. Well, maybe I will be interested in hearing their opinion about how is the whole specialty cacao business in Turkey, because this really interests me. Because I sell cacao, so I would like to know. I sell cacao mainly in Asia, so I would like to know their opinion if they're willing to share. Small.
Also, I bought some specialty cocoa bars from Colombia when I before left Colombia. I bought 4 different cocoa beans, made bar, and it. All of the 4 beans are very complex and very fruity. It roasted light and it's very acidic and very complex. I love it.
No, you know what I've seen, and I've seen it with my customers, because at the beginning when we started specifically to them, but then it's something very special happened. Which is the chocolatiers started to get interested in specialty coffee, and then the specialty coffee roasters started to get interested in specialty cacao.
Yeah, just like
so. Yeah, so now I think that the 2 industries are helping each other. So now we're trying to do the process themselves, and the consumer who likes to enjoy a cup of specialty coffee probably likes to enjoy a specialty cacao bar as well, because it's very similar. It's the whole direct trade philosophy, the whole trying the flavors, the raw flavors of the coffee is the same as trying the raw flavors that these are 2 industries that are helping each other. And I think that now that the specialty coffee roasters are getting involved in chocolate, this business will grow. Specialty cacao will grow.
Okay. Also, I heard from Özgün about the roasting specialty cacao beans. It's another challenge because it's very hard to use to roast specialty cacao beans than a specialty coffee. but we learn.
Yeah.
We learn it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually very different.
Yeah.
And I will say that you might roast the cacao beans, but I will say that the hardest part is the tempering of the chocolate. For this, you really need a professional. I tried to do it once. It's very difficult. It's very.
Also, cocoa beans taste. It's very amazing and it's very complex. Just only cocoa beans, not chocolates.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, and even the cacao nibs. The cacao nibs, which is something very simple. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Podisi Çikolata says a good chocolate.
Yeah, I see that.
Fermentation and right job on roasting. Thank you so much, Podisi. Also, you make lovely, delicious chocolates. Now, pass the new question, and this is the last question. How do you provide sustainability regarding the quality of the harvest every year? Is there a chance to not prefer farms harvest just because of lack of quality?
When you mean sustainability, what do you mean? Like if we buy them?
Sustainability, I think. Yeah. In every year.
So one part of the question is if we choose not to buy from some farms because quality issues. Certainly. Sometimes when we start buying from a farm and we have a quality issue, it's fine. We try to solve it with the farmer. But when we keep having quality issues and when there is no way of fixing it or not the will of the farmer to fix the issue, then we just stop working with that farm. Because I think this is the most important thing. If you have a quality issue with a lot you buy from me and you have a quality issue there, it's something we cannot easily fix because we're in different countries. So I need to make sure that the quality I source it's always stable. So that's why for us quality is very important. And what was the other part with sustainability? Can you read me again?
Is there a chance to not prefer farm harvest just because of lack quality? Is the last question. It's like that.
Oh yeah, that's what I just said. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you talk about the lack of quality because of causes of the lack of quality with the farmers if they can't get a quality harvest?
Okay. Another thing we do is, and this is related with what I was saying about doing partnerships with the farms. We understand that each harvest season is different. There are environmental conditions that are pretty hard to control. So when, let's say we usually buy a coffee that the cupping score is 85. If one harvest, the cupping score is, I don't know, 82. So there is a lower score, lower quality. But what we try to do is find what was the problem. If the problem was environmental, if the problem was in fermentation, if the problem was in drying, storage, to buy the coffee and export the coffee and sell the coffee. If the defect is not, if there is no defects, if there is just lower quality, we still buy the coffee to support the farmer. So we fix the problem, we buy the coffee, we support the farmer, and we work to have better quality for the next harvest season.
Okay. This is the last question. I have one question for you about
Okay.
thing. If it's not postponed again, do you think to come at the World Brewers Cup, Melbourne?
I would love to. I would love to go and support you.
Thank you so much, man, because I miss you.
Yeah, man, me too. So, do you have there is a new date for the Brewers Cup?
It's at the 3rd to 6th November.
6. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna try to go. I always go to South Korea on November, October, November. So it's not close, but Australia is not close, but it's definitely closer from there than from here. Yeah. So it will be really interesting to go.
Yeah.
I will go with a T-shirt saying, "Marco, wish you the best, man." I'll try to go. Let's keep in touch and see if I can go and have a good time there and support you.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thank you for this broadcast.
Thank you for having me.